Hi everyone, and welcome to Service for the Community. I'm your host, Matt Blown. Today we have Sarah, Al, and Joette from the Kiwanis Club, Rotary, and Optimist Club. How's everybody doing today?
Great. Doing pretty
Excellent.
good.
Awesome, awesome. So today, let's start with our newest member. Let's start with the Kiwanis Club. Sarah, you want to talk about Kids Against Hunger. Tell us about that.
Yes. So Kids Against Hunger is a program that you get together, the children and the adults can work side by side. And there's like an assembly line where you package together rice and seasonings and things. And one bag, which is very carefully measured, will feed a family of 6. And we're expecting to pack several thousand meals that day. It's going to be held on July the 8th with some more information to come. So make sure you're following us on Facebook so we can connect you with that information. We're on Kiwanis Club of Clarkston. And that day is going to be very fun-filled. About 50 volunteers or more. We can take as many as we have come. And the meals are sent locally to any local food pantries across the state, and then some will also be shipped overseas where our U.S. Air Forces can fly for us.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so it sounds like a lot of people together packing different things.
Yep.
Awesome, awesome. Al, what's going on with Rotary? Let's talk about, I believe you guys just had your international conference just concluded.
That's correct, actually, yeah. It has just concluded this year. There was quite a bit of focus on the Rotary initiative to eradicate polio. Bill Gates was the featured speaker. Since Rotary has gotten involved with polio, they've gone from 325,000 cases per year to, we had 37 last year. Wow. They're trying to make polio the second disease that's completely eradicated on the face of the earth, the other being smallpox. Sure. There's been no others. The Gates Foundation has been a huge part of that. They've donated matching grants up to $350 million. Wow. So this year they've gotten pledges from various governments and entities of $1.2 billion. They're hoping that may be the final step here. They had hoped to have polio eradicated by the year 2000. It hasn't happened. I mean, you have to search every nook and cranny throughout the world to get all the children vaccinated, and that's quite a project. Sure. But that was the focus of the international this year.
Well, it sounds like every time you guys are here, you're talking, it sounds like you're a little bit closer every
Yes,
time.
Absolutely. So, awesome. We're going to get there.
Awesome. Joette, sounds like Optimist has been giving out about a lot of large grants recently to a whole bunch of organizations. So tell us about that.
The last few years we've been, we've had the privilege of giving out $50,000 to the community. Mm-hmm. And this year we gave out 18 grants. Some of our bigger projects, these are to organizations or people who are working with kids, because the focus of Optimism is kids. That's our focus, optimism, kids. So sure. We one of the larger grants went to the Clarkston Family Farm for their room, their sunflower room, which will be a classroom and just the inside room for them to make it ADA compatible.
Oh, okay.
And we had given the money for the hoop house, which that you will see it's on the property of M15 and Hubbard Road.
Okay.
So they are growing. The idea of the Clarkston Family Farm is that they are growing food. Kids are growing food and finding out where the food comes from.
Oh.
We also gave about half the grants went to different projects with teachers in the school. Bay Lake Elementary got money for Leader in Me, which they're the last school to come on board with Leader in Me. All the other schools have elementary schools have Leader in Me, and we've given to them over the years. Mm-hmm. We also gave to Oakland County Parks so that there will be archery classes at Independence Oaks.
Oh, okay.
And there will also be a fishing derby. It's too late for this particular program, but sure. There was a fishing derby on June 16th, I believe.
Okay.
And but there will be you can go out and learn to shoot a bow. All the equipment is there, and as well as the backstops and everything like that. Okay. We gave to other organizations such as Oats to fund a horse during the year for. I think Thunder was one of the horses that we gave to. We also gave money to Depot Park in the village of Clarkston so that they can purchase some playground equipment to replace what they've had.
Okay.
That's a park where many young kids come. We Clarkston Youth Assistance for family programs. We gave to the library and the schools because the library goes into the schools, gives book talks, and we funded some books so that they can leave them for the kids to read. German books in the library at the junior high. So every year, people can write grants to us approximately in January and February.
Okay.
And then the committee looks at those grants, and we fund close to 50,000 if that's what we have. So,
Wow.
and there is one more. It's called a wolf shop. It's
Okay.
at the junior high, and one of the things that these two junior high, Jeff Parasol and Steve Wyckoff, realized is that kids don't know how to use hammers and saws and other things.
Sure.
And so they have a 2-week summer camp
Okay.
for kids, and so that's coming up, I think, in the end of June.
Mhm.
So.
Awesome. Oh, it sounds like you guys are involved in a lot of different groups, a lot of different projects.
We are.
Which is great. It's great. Awesome. Sarah, let's go back to you in Kiwanis Club and talk about, I believe it's called Project Eliminate.
That's right.
All right.
So Project Eliminate is an international effort that we've been working on for a couple years now. And it's designed to eliminate maternal neonatal tetanus, which we don't see very often here in the United States. We're very fortunate to have the vaccines needed to prevent these horrible illnesses. But in other countries, they don't have that same privilege. So we have babies dying, every hour. It's not just a daily thing of tetanus. And there are things that could be preventable if the mother just was able to have access to the vaccinations needed. And some of the symptoms that you'll see is a young child who it hurts to even have the mother touch that child. I mean, they're screaming unbearably amount of pain. So this Project Eliminate is an international effort, like I mentioned, that we've been working on, and it provides vaccines to the mother, which protects her and all of her unborn children, providing it to children that are suffering with it currently. And that we have been successful in eliminating it from many countries now, and we got a little bit more ways to go. So one of the ways that we are here in Michigan teaming together to try to raise funds for this is through what we're calling a shoe project. And we're collecting used shoes, so as everyone's cleaning out their closets, if you'll think of the Kiwanis Club here, and donate those over to us. We take them in pairs, we keep them rubber banded and then bagged up. Those shoes are then kind of a win-win situation. The shoes are repurposed and sent over so that third world countries can help build an economic system. They're able to resell those shoes, which we might think are trash, but over there they're gold. So they're able to build an economic system there. It's helping those countries. In return, we get some funds back for those shoes, which helps us with our Project Eliminate.
Is there any guidelines for the type of shoes, like shoes or sandals or?
Can be shoes, sandals, high heels, baby shoes, kid shoes, any type of shoe.
Any shoe you
Work
got that you're
boots,
not using?
Anything.
All right.
Yeah.
It sounds like in a similar way, the way you guys are trying to, wipe out your disease. It sounds like a very similar thing that
Very similar.
Rotary's do.
Sure.
Yeah, both great international projects.
Right.
We worked with iodine deficiency prior to this, was successful at eradicating that. Now this is our focus.
How many years have you guys been tackling this specific issue?
I believe about 4 years. I might
4
be
years?
a little give or take
sure.
on that, but roughly 4 years.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we're toward the end of our project. We're getting there. A few more countries left, and then we'll have successfully reached our goal.
I was going to say, is there an estimated time for you're hoping that it'll be eradicated by a certain year?
Yeah. Well, the hope would be within the next 3 years.
Okay.
Our goal here in the actually at Kiwanis International level is for $110 million to eradicate the disease. We have fully pledged all of that money, meaning that people have committed that they're going to raise it or they're going to donate it themselves. So now we're in that collection phase of getting the money in. So for Michigan here, we pledged a certain amount, and this shoe project is part of our fundraising efforts to reach that amount.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, best of luck.
Thank you.
Al, let's talk about some future events that the Rotary has coming out. It sounds like some of them aren't for a little while, maybe October,
Sure.
November.
Yeah, I'll kind of go back and forth. We just
Yeah.
this past week we had our meeting was at Gateway. We had 3 youth exchange students that we had sponsored that were living and going to the Clarkston schools. They were leaving, so we like to have a going away dinner for them. So we had that this past week. We also gave out 2 $1,000 scholarships at the Renaissance High School for their graduation, which we do every year. Very deserving students. I encourage anyone who has time to go to the Renaissance graduation. It's a smaller group of kids, and a lot of them have circumstances that make it a lot more difficult for them growing up and then ultimately succeeding, and they're able to get the best out of these kids, and it's really great to see. So, and
ITV actually, we filmed both graduations for Renaissance and Clarkston High School this year and last year, and I was actually able to attend Renaissance last year. And you do get the sense that because they are a smaller group, that some teachers and students do really get to form, a different bond just because of smaller class size and things like that.
Absolutely.
It is an interesting kind of ceremony just because it's different in size.
It is, yeah. Instead of sitting at Pine Knob and with 600 students,
Exactly.
you've got,
a little
I think
more
there were
intimate feeling.
31 or 32 this year. So yeah, it really is a different feeling, and they do such a great job there. Absolutely. So upcoming events we have in the fall. We're starting to gear up slowly here, but by the fall we have our Shoes for Kids. That's our major project that we do locally. We get shoes, boots, hats, gloves, toothbrushes for up to 300 or approximately 300 kids from the Clarkston School District. We usually have it, we sell newspapers the week before, and then we take the proceeds and have the shoes and the boots the week after. So that's our major project. It's a great event. We have a lot of community support, a lot of volunteers. We can't be more pleased with the response that we get from folks that want to help out. So, but it takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort to get that going. Joel DeLong in our club is kind of the master of ceremonies when it comes to the Shoes for Kids. So between him and his wife, they got to get the shoes, they got to do all the stuff they need to do to get it ready. So it's just starting to ramp up now. I'm taking over as president as of July 1st. So there's some things that we have to do with that. Like I said, we're always looking for new members. People are interested in volunteering, that sort of thing. So that's our focus more this year. Last year we went to Ronald McDonald House, we went to Grace Center of Hope and volunteered, and we're going to do more of that this year. So that's we're in the planning stages to try to get all that done.
Gotcha. Well, congrats on becoming the president.
Thank you, I think.
Yes. Yeah. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Joette, tell us, Optimist also, in addition to the large grants, many scholarships.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Well, we gave 4 scholarships to Clarkston High School students. We do look for those kids at the high school who have given community service in some form to their church, to a youth group, to the school in some way, or a club. So that's basically, or if they participated in the Junior Optimist at the high school. And we also gave scholarships to Renaissance. And it is an absolutely wonderful event, the graduation. And we hope those kids go on, and they need the support. We also gave gift cards to their teachers, because those teachers probably, they work with some of the most difficult situations, not the difficult kids, but difficult situations.
Right.
And we're really proud of the Renaissance High School staff. We had our rut cart there yesterday, and we had for their field day, so there was, we provided lunch.
Is there a certain, if you were to get a scholarship from the Optimist Club, is there a certain range that you guys try to strive to give so many kids scholarship at such a certain amount, or is it just kind of whatever you have, you just see what you can do?
Well, we usually budget for 4. It's really important that kids go out to the Chamber of Commerce, because that's where the website is. The Clarkston Optimist, the Clarkston Garden Club, Monk Dentistry, and Clarkston Medical Group, and another doctor, I'm sorry. I don't have that name in my head at the moment.
Sure.
Give scholarships, and so it's a community scholarship. And all of the information is on the Chamber of Commerce website. So kids need to go there in January. Usually the deadline is sometime in March, and they can see what they have to do. It's not a difficult scholarship to get, and you can get all. You could actually, if you fit the criteria, you could get all 5.
Oh, wow.
So it's not like we're exclusive in any
Sure,
way.
sure.
So Optimists are for kids. So furthering their education is important to us.
Of course, of course. Well, now to go back to you, Al, for a little bit, because you also have some scholarships, things like that. Can you touch upon that?
Yeah, like I was discussing before, for the Renaissance High School, every year we give out 2 scholarships. Very similar to what the Optimists. I mean, there's not a specific criteria. You don't have to be an A+ student, you don't have to be active in certain organizations. But we look at all the factors, need and what they're going to study and what their volunteer, have they participated through school and how active have they been. That all matters. So we try to look for students that have put the effort in to reach out into the community and be active.
Sure. Now, Joette, there's one big event that you guys are pretty involved with that's coming up.
Yes, we are facilitators with 3 other groups, the Clarkson Lions Club, Mount Zion Church, and the Knights of Columbus from St. Dan's Catholic Church, the 4th of July parade.
Independence Fest?
That's the parade is what we do. The Parks and Rec
put on the
Independence
festival. Gotcha.
So it starts on the holiday, July 4th at 10 a.m., rain or shine. Starts at St. Dan's Catholic Church and goes to Renaissance High School. There's a website, clarkstonparade.org, which shows the route and shows all of the rules, and he has a paper application as well as a fill-in application. And there is a small fee for businesses and politicians, but the community is invited for free. And we also have a bike parade for kids. If you want to decorate your bike, you can just bring your bike, and there'll be a whole group of bikers, young bikers, probably with some moms and dads if you want. And there's about 10,000 people line the streets of Clarkston. I have not counted them, but I am told
it's a pretty packed event. We've been there many times. ITV has, and it's a packed.
And I invite the Rotary and the Kiwanis to do a float. It's Celebrate Independence is the theme this year, and we have got agreement from the Pentagon to have a flyover if they're flying. So, you can come and see probably the Warthogs. That's usually been our plane that comes from Suffrage Air Force Base, but that's always kind of fun. We have veterans, the American Legion. It leads us off, and there will be student singers this year at each of the stages singing the national anthem, as well as our fire department and our police department, and we have a lot of new entries, so there's still time.
I was going to say, what's the due date if you want to be in the parade?
If you can get to me by July 3rd at 10 a.m.,
Okay.
10 p.m.
So you can, if you want to go right to the last minute, you still have a chance.
We do.
Okay.
You still have a chance.
Good.
And you might not be my friend that day.
You might not get the happiest of response, but you'll get a response.
Yeah, you will get a response, yes. And it's a fun event. I mean, it's a fun event. I've been in the community probably 50 years, and we've had this parade 50 years, the cement trucks and the garbage trucks and the American Legion. It's a real community parade.
It's always a well-attended event, and ITV has covered the parade the last several years. We plan to cover it again this year. This will be either the second year. We'll probably try to promote it this year, but our plan is to also live stream the parade live to the web. So as we get more information on that, we'll make sure we pass it on to you.
You have to come to get your candy.
There you go. Yep, it's true. It's true.
If you're a kid, you have to come to get
If you want to fully enjoy the atmosphere, you got to be there. If you want to interact with people, you got to be there. But if for whatever reason you can't,
or your hot dog, or your
hot dog. Exactly.
It's just a wonderful. It's only about an hour and probably an hour and a half is the longest it is. But
sure.
It really is a great event to come together. So we invite everybody to the Independence Day parade. Okay.
And if you're vacationing, maybe you just watch. Maybe that's when you can watch the live stream. If you're feeling homesick with your vacation.
But remember, the parade is brought to you by of these 4 volunteer groups: the Optimists, the Mount Zion Church, Knights of Columbus, and the Clarkston Lions Club.
Right. Awesome. And then I think last thing with Optimist, Kids Speak Out. You wanted to talk a little bit about.
Yes. Well, Optimists are always about kids, and we have an oratorical contest that our junior high and elementary, junior high, and high school can participate in. And it's a international contest. I mean, there's a club level and a state level and whatever. But we started this year. They started Kids Speak Out, and so Mr. Partington went to North Sashaba Elementary, and we worked with their 5th grades, and kids wrote about things that they were interested in, and then they gave a speech at the end. And it was a fascinating piece. There, some of the topics were more recess time, starting later in school, especially at the middle school, because those 5th graders are going on. The school lunch program.
Yeah.
And
I've heard that get some constructive criticism, I guess.
It did. But it was wonderful that for kids, they did a little bit of research and then put on a short little talk on that. And oral presentation is something that's part of the state curriculum, but it is one of those things that's very hard to do. It's very hard for us to do here. So it's great that kids have that opportunity to do it.
Even when I took class, when I was in college, I remember they're talking about how we had to take a speech class. That was part of it. And I think they said, I don't remember for sure, but it was like the 2nd or 3rd most common fear of public speaking.
Going to the dentist or dentist, snakes, and public speaking.
Exactly. But public speaking is one of those things, no matter what kind of field you work in, you're going to have to communicate with your fellow employees and staff, and you're probably going to have to explain a project or something you want to do to a higher up at some point, and then you want to have those public speaking skills.
Even if you're a citizen and you don't work, you may want to go to your township board, or you may want to go to a PTA meeting, or your subdivision. Speaking in front of other people is a difficult thing, but the practice makes perfect there.
Oh, for sure. Well, I think those are all the main topics. Is there anything else you guys want to touch upon before we kind of wrap up today?
Yeah, so Kiwanis being new to town, just kind of an overview, I guess, of what we are and what you can expect out of us here in Clarkston. As the Optimist mentioned, we're all about kids. We're focused on kids. You can see a lot of our events if you do #KidsNeedKiwanis. Any social media platform, you'll see all kinds of good projects and that's going on in the community. But one of the things I love most about Kiwanis is that we're very hands-on, and we're not afraid to just jump in anywhere that's needed. So, if Optimist or Rotary is having an event and you just need more hands, give us a call and we'll be there to provide those hands and help out with the project that's already existing. If you need trash picked up on the side of the road, we're there. It doesn't matter how big or small the event is. We're there with the hands-on help to get you what you need. We have a lot of great programs within the elementary schools. One of my favorites is called BUGS, and it stands for Bringing Up Grades. Helps individualize goals and teach the kids goal setting. And then as they accomplish those goals, Kiwanis is able to come in and help with the recognition part of the piece. So it's provided some great stories that I've had through the years. We had, I call it my Kiwanis moment, and it's the reason why, not necessarily the reason I joined Kiwanis, but definitely the reason I stayed in Kiwanis, is we had an event, we took a bunch of kids out, and they were doing like a challenge obstacle course. And the leader of the group says, okay, can you guys all tell me who inspires you? And one little kid raised his hand and said, she does, and points to me. And I've never met this kid in my life before that day. And so I have a puzzled look. The leader has a puzzled look, and she says, well, why is that? He said, she's the first person that told me I could do it. And, wow. It's an amazing thing to hear that, this child who's in 5th grade has never been told by anybody, you can do it, you got this, So that's the kind of impact that Kiwanis has and Rotary has and Optimist has within our communities, that we can reach those kids and provide that for them when they're not necessarily getting it elsewhere. Yeah. So that's who we are. we really look forward to being in the community here. We have our next organizational meeting on June the 28th at Buckshots, 6 p.m. So we invite everybody to come out. We're real close to that chartering point to get this club officially chartered with Kiwanis International and get everything up and running here in the community.
Awesome. Awesome.
Excellent.
Anybody else?
Oh, I guess were you going to say something?
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, one of the things about Clarkston and the community is the clubs, whether it's the Garden Club, the DAR, they all work together. We provide the socks for your shoes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's perfect.
And so I think that's one of the greatest things about this community is that the clubs are all supportive of the community
Yes.
and the people who live there. So, find something that,
Find something you're passionate about and help out.
and
That's
help
right.
out. That's
Yeah.
absolutely true.
Absolutely.
No matter where you're at, just help.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll just say that we meet on, if you're interested in Rotary, we meet on Monday nights, 6:30 at Buckshots. So we appreciate the space from Buckshots.
Absolutely, us too.
And if you want, let's see, is it up on the board? There you go. Let's see if I do it this way.
Oh, yep, the website's on the screen.
ClarkstonRotary.org. You get more information. Feel free to call us. If you want to we have fun in our meetings. We do a lot of things internationally and also locally. So I highly encourage people to reach out to us or certainly the Optimists or the Kiwanis.
Well, we're not a night meeting.
Yeah.
We're a morning meeting
Yes.
at 7:30 at the American Legion right now. We usually meet at Clarkston, the United Methodist Church, but since they're in
Under
transition,
construction.
under construction, we are at American Legion just over I-75, and we meet every Wednesday morning, and you can come when you can, and come and not come when you can, but we always have a speaker,
Okay.
and that's always an interesting part of our meeting. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for coming by today. And that's all the time we have for Service to the Community. We'll see you next time.